Hello, gorgeous goddesses. Welcome to this new moon in Leo transmission. There is a lot of depth to this new moon. So, when I first started studying the chart, I was feeling into the Leo energy, which, yes, is about shining bright, boldness. As I went a little deeper, we are definitely facing some big decisions in our life right now. And I feel this is for each of us. And this can be in different sectors of our life. This could be in relationships. This could be in terms of a move. This could be in terms of your business or your health. There's some big decisions that really require bravery and courage. And kind of this dance we are doing right now of being called into a new timeline, the next version of ourselves. And we're still discovering what that is, both collectively and personally. And then this pull back into what may feel comfortable. So, we're going to explore this all today. A warm welcome before we dive right in. You may be listening to this on the podcast. So, I recently launched a podcast called Born for the Stars. If you're here on YouTube, I'm going to link the podcast below. If you are listening on the podcast, you may want to watch the video for this specific episode because I am going to share my screen and pull up the new moon chart. So, if you're somebody who is a visual learner, you may want to jump over and check out this video. And I recently celebrated my birthday as well, so my solar return. And as a birthday offer, I released some amazing opportunities to work together one-on-one or to join my Born for the Stars inner circle. So I'm going to attach the links for both of those below if you are feeling the call right now to really get your work and your message out into the world in bigger ways than ever before. You know you're a leader in this new paradigm. And you want to do this all in a way that honors your soul blueprint, your cosmic codes for success. And in my world, we look at those through the lens of astrology as well as the Akashic records. And then we anchor them in really tangible ways so you can experience the growth you desire, the wealth that you desire, and the massive impact that I know you are here to make on the planet. So, all links attached below. And with that being said, I want to share the screen and jump right in. There is a lot to unpack here. And I'm going to begin with the Leo energy, understanding that archetype, and then kind of branch out because this new moon is aspecting the outer planets, which really change its expression. So if we look at the Leo energy, Leo is the architect or the archetype of bravery and courage and following our heart. And it really reminds us to shine bright and that it's the best gift we can give to the world is being in our authentic truth and not dimming our light to try to make others comfortable, not changing who we are to try to fit a mold or a box that we were never meant to fit in. We are all a gift to this planet, and infinite intelligence wants to be expressed through each of us uniquely. And we see that through our blueprint. And Leo really reminds us that we need to take center stage in our life to really step up, take center stage. So I would grab your birth chart and find the house that Leo rules over. So maybe you are a Leo, maybe you have your rising, your moon, your sun there, other personal planets or outer planets. Even if you have none at all, Leo rules over a certain area of your life. And whatever area of your life Leo rules in your chart is an area that is infused with the Leo qualities, or that you're invited to infuse with the Leo qualities of boldness, of self-expression. There's also a playfulness to this energy. Leo connects us back to our inner child, and it is one of the signs of the zodiac that is associated with leadership. It's that fixed fire energy that holds a lot of passion, a lot of loyalty, and it's a type of leadership when expressed in the highest octave that comes from being centered in the heart and the wisdom that our heart holds. So it's connected with the heart chakra as well as the solar plexus. And the solar plexus is our inner sun, our inner light. Leo is ruled by the sun. So this new moon, 2 degrees, happening very early on in Leo season. We recently had the sun move from the sign of Cancer into Leo, beginning this new season with a new moon. Really does feel like a new chapter. And at 13 degrees of Leo, we have Mercury retrograde. And I talked a little bit about this last week, how I did a reel on this on Instagram as well. How I, as an astrologer, I tend to see retrogrades different than a lot of astrologers. I actually see retrogrades as extremely helpful, and it can actually bring a lot of clarity because it's covering ground that's already been covered in the chart. So with Mercury, we're revisiting information or decisions that are not new, but now we're going back and we can see it through a new lens. And that is extremely helpful to be able to revisit certain things that we haven't made a decision on or that haven't come to completion. And it's like, back in the spotlight. So when we're looking at Mercury in the sign of Leo specifically, Leo is very much about our self-expression. So maybe there's something you need to express that you've been holding back. It has to do with our creativity. So this could be a creative project that you're wanting to share with the world, and maybe you've been holding back out of fear or doubt or just thinking that's not who I am, or the stories we create, right? Letting that go. Leo also relates to our family and romance. So these can be decisions that impact family or your romantic partner that we're revisiting at this time. And now let's begin to kind of branch out and understanding this energy a little further. So one of the most potent aspects here is we have the sun and the moon opposing Pluto, a direct opposition here. So Pluto is at 2 degrees of Aquarius, which is directly opposite this new moon at 2 degrees of Leo. Pluto is the planet of soul level transformation. When Pluto opposes the sun and the moon, this is like death, rebirth energy. I'm not talking physical death. Often it's not. It's more about that emotional journey of what we need to release and let go of in order to step into a new future and a new timeline. We can't hold on to the old. And with this energy, it really feels like it's very much in our face. Like we're very aware of what we need to heal, what we're no longer going to be entangled with, what we're no longer entertaining. And it's a very internal journey, like an internal process that we're moving through, but it will be reflected in our external actions and our external decisions. This can also, there's an intensity here with Pluto as well, where this can bring a lot of buried emotions up to the surface, old patterns. Pluto can be a link to our subconscious as well. But there's just change and transformation written all over this chart. And because it's an opposition here, this can be a pull in energy. So maybe your head's pulling you in one direction, your heart is pulling you in another. Or again, there's this dynamic between the old and the new, which we're going to look at as well. So Pluto is interacting with Uranus too in a harmonious aspect. So a trine. Now that Uranus recently moved into Gemini, it's at the 0 degree mark. This is another area you want to check in your chart. Where is Gemini? Especially those early degrees. What house does it rule over? This is an area of your life that you're about to go through an awakening. And specifically as it relates to this new moon chart, this can be new information, new ideas that are coming in that are rearranging your value system, that are, again, creating kind of an awakening in your world. So if there's been some things that have felt more dormant, like I'll look at that later, I'll revisit this later. Now it's like, no, okay, it's the time. It's the time to look at the decisions that I'm making. And the shift of Uranus and Gemini is really affecting our nervous system as well. We are all recalibrating to a new energy. This is very electric energy, and Gemini being the mind, new ideas. This has so many implications for artificial intelligence, just taking off to new levels, and the what is the right word for it? Like we have a responsibility for ensuring the direction in which that goes, because it can actually be a very, very beautiful addition to our ascension right now. A whole other discussion, but Pluto and Aquarius trining Uranus and Gemini, this is like technology that's being used in a way that can further our evolution and expansion if we're able to meet it with a level of consciousness and intentionality. So the other aspect that was really speaking to me through this new moon chart is the North Node here in Pisces, opposing Mars and the South Node in Virgo. Mars conjunct the South Node here. This is what really brings to light this desire to create movement and momentum in our life if we have felt stuck and stagnant, because Mars is all about that life force energy. And Virgo, it can be very practical of like, what do I need to get in order to create the changes that I want? Now, where it's next to the South Node, we want to be aware that we're not falling into old patterns because we are not our past. Our mind actually links us to the past. I've been talking a lot about that lately in my videos and on the podcast, how our mind is a collection of everything that happened in the past, and it looks for pattern recognition as a shortcut. And it's not always going to be what helps us evolve and grow and change. And this is really a conversation that's happening around this new moon as well. It's like there's going to be bravery and courage needed to create this change. And it's knowing like you are brave, and whatever you've created in your past is not indicative of what needs to be repeated in the future. It was simply an experience. It's not a reflection of the ultimate truth. And with these planetary shifts, we are in groundbreaking times. Like for everyone on the planet, these are new energies. Like we really have collectively entered a new timeline where we see things manifesting at a quicker rate, where many people are awakening to. Speaking of the heart, like the wisdom held in the Heart Math Institute for years has done so many beautiful studies around understanding the power the heart holds in guiding us, and like the wisdom that's there that can transcend logic. And we're entering a time where we're understanding that in a new way. So this opposition too, if we look at in astrology, the North Node is ultimately what we are leaning into, and the South Node is what we are releasing and letting go of. So we want to take the gifts from the South Node, but be aware of the shadow aspects, and we're more going with the North Node. So the North Node in Pisces is about connecting to a higher power. It's about connecting to our highest self. And with the decisions or changes that you're making in your life right now, because I know we're all being called to evolve as a planet, we're seeing that, and that is also in our own life, right? Our own life, and as a planet, we're evolving, we're changing. And the answers are going to be found in trusting in our intuition and even trusting in the unknown, because this is uncharted territory. It's really interesting with the North Node in Pisces because in the lower octave, it can feel really hazy. It can feel like we're walking through a fog. And I often use this analogy that a coach gave to me many, many years ago around if we're standing in a fog, like literally we're standing and we're surrounded by fog and we stand still, it's like the fog thickens and it becomes very overwhelming. But as soon as we just like take a step, it's like the fog gradually lifts and then we just have to take the next step. And sometimes this can be the Piscean energy where we don't always clearly see or know the path, but the key to moving through it is trusting our intuition to be that guiding light. And now, if we look even further at this, we actually see a T square forming. So the North Node is opposing Mars, and the South Node, which is squaring Venus and Gemini. So we see the square with the North Node as well as Mars, and with the South Node. And Venus and Gemini here, we can play with this energy in different ways. So we also, again, remember Uranus is here in Gemini too. This is new ideas. This is like a fast moving energy. Fire and air is a fast pace, and it's part of the quickening in energy that we're feeling this year and a rearranging of time. Just in the sense that we are experiencing time different on the planet right now. Like it is speeding up. It really is. So this energy is so fascinating because Gemini is represented by the twins. So it represents like two or more options, duality. So this may be at a crossroads in an area of your life where there's like, okay, what direction do I go? There's different options. So I want you to pause there and celebrate the fact that there are different options instead of getting overwhelmed by it. Whenever this comes up with my clients, I work with so many creatives, and when we are creating launch plans and their records and like calling forward the highest timeline for rolling out their offers and programs, sometimes there can be an overwhelm of like, there's so many possibilities, there's so many options, I have so many ideas, I could help so many people. And it's like, okay, let's not get overwhelmed by that. Let's take a moment to celebrate that. That is an abundance of options and opportunity. That's a good thing. And now let's practice calling forward the highest timeline. So that is something we can do in the records work that I love to do. While there are many different options and it's not about a judgment or a right or wrong, there are going to be options that are more aligned with your soul plan and your soul's highest path, and the highest path for joy, the highest path for abundance, the highest path for expansion. So different timelines are going to have different experiences attached to them. So I feel like right now there's like an exploring of what those options are. And the way to know is going to be trusting the heart. Leo energy. What does your heart say? Even if your mind is uncertain, where is your heart guiding you? The North Node in Pisces as well is very much about where is your intuition calling you? Where is your higher self guiding you? And please know again, we're all in uncharted territory here. So Saturn and Neptune in the early degrees of Aries, the very beginning of the zodiac, is a new energy. So sometimes we can be really hesitant if we're called on a path that our mind is not familiar with, because anything that is new, your mind, the way our mind and brain is wired, is it will register it as a threat simply because it's a new experience and we don't have a data bank for how to manage it. Doesn't mean that the ultimate truth is it is a threat. It means our brain is registering it like that. So if we can be aware that, okay, I'm registering this as a threat, but just because something is new and uncharted, it doesn't mean that it's not going to lead to beautiful expansion. In fact, it does. It does, right? That is where growth and expansion will come from, is the willingness to trailblaze. Aries is the trailblazer. Saturn and Neptune here is like the willingness to trailblaze a new timeline as a planet right now and in our own life as well. We even see Saturn sextiling Pluto and also interacting with Uranus. Just again, change, transformation, personal alchemy all over this chart, new timeline. So, and then we go back to the heart of it all. This Leo new moon. Trust your heart to guide you. The path that's right for someone else may have nothing to do with the path you're here to follow. And Leo teaches us to like own our throne, have the courage to say, I'm going for it, I'm doing it. No one else knows my soul path better than me, especially if we've taken time. There is time and energy. We have to like strip away the projections and beliefs of the outside world and come back home to our truth. And I know if you're here, you're for that. You're all for it. You wouldn't have found your way into my world if you are not somebody who is here for big impact, who is like, yes, I'm here to grow, I'm here to evolve, I'm not afraid to do hard things, and yet I also know I can grow through joy. So I want to leave us with that as well. There is an element of joy with Leo. So I know I talked a lot about change and transformation here, but we can move through that in an energy that doesn't need to feel heavy, but that is rooted in love, that is rooted in joy for this earthly journey and for this human experience, and a celebration of the options that we do have available to us moment by moment. And if we can strip away the right or the wrong, and simply come back to where my heart is guiding me, you're set. You've got this. So that is our new moon energy. I would love to hear from you below. If you're tuning in on YouTube here, share with me, how are you feeling in these energies? What are you creating? This is a new moon. This is a time to set intentions, and it's happening at the beginning of a new season. Leo, what are you creating? What are you manifesting? Some other final reflections. Where are you called to really express your unique creativity, to be your authentic self without the fear of judgment of the external world? Because that's where true freedom and liberation is found. Final reminder, links below for my birthday offers if you would like to jump into my inner circle, Born for the Stars inner circle, or co-create together one-on-one. I am sending you all so much love. Enjoy this new moon energy, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.